So, Denise, back to you. We heard from Kelly Meyer there, reporting from the White House. We know the 60-day clock has started. We heard that from the VP yesterday. But some are saying that this deal makes the U.S. look weaker on the global stage. I mean, David just talked about our allies and the fact that the president didn't consult with them. How do you think the U.S. ensures that, we do come out on top in all of this? Should that even be the goal?
It's interesting. I think I agree with David on this point, which is the messaging on this war has been far less than stellar. And that's part of the nature of engaging in diplomacy and not being able to share everything that you're doing all the time, and really not even caring how you message it to the American public, including all of his messaging points on the economy and inflation. I mean, the president has not been consistent in saying anything and rallying Americans to understand and bring them along in this process and making the moral case for why this war is important. It doesn't change the fact, though, that this war was critical. Something had to be done to take the fight to Iran. And, every time I think about what the JCPOA stood for and how there were no snapback sanctions and how there was no ability to actually, Iran had the gall to kick out IAEA inspectors to even, I think the JCPOA said they could allow inspectors to come in on their terms at the places they chose whenever they wanted. And then they said no more inspectors. Tell me how that's a deterrent. All that is a festering wound. It reminds me so much of the story you talked about earlier, Nicole, with the Mexican cartels. Nobody likes violence at the border in America because of, external forces. But we have let, these sorts of criminal elements, whether it's Iran or the cartels, fester and grow and gain in strength. And we, as an international community, as an American president, really every administration has looked the other way and said, we're not going to do anything about it. So my question to those who are critics of this whole this what's happening, what's unfolding right now is, what was the alternative? And what could be more America first? I'm not finished. What could be more America first than actually saying this is our stated goal to keep a nuclear weapon out of the hands of Iran, and everything else is second? No, it wasn't. Nobody did anything in the world for us. The UN didn't do anything. Nobody did anything.
All right, okay, let me interject here. Let me interject here.
Nuclear threat, but we're starting to not believe it. We've heard about weapons.
That's your naivety. If you think that's not real, that's your naivety.
Billions of dollars here today.
All right,
we're going to give them billions of dollars.
Let's give it more. All right, you two. So, David, the president, I would like to just interject here, because President Trump, David, is saying that there are no limits on his power. I want to listen to what he said.
What have you learned about not just the exercise of power, but the limits on your power as a result of the conflict?
There are no limits.
No,
I haven't learned that lesson yet. I know there are, but, there are no limits.
The MOU doesn't look like unconditional surrender.
Well, it really probably is unconditional surrender.
All right. So, David, is he fundamentally, fundamentally, is the president wrong? Because Congress does not appear to have put any limits on him, on what he does, on any actions that he's taking.
Well, he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. He said, well, there's no limits, but there probably should be. And I don't know where they are. I haven't learned that lesson yet. Well, we're all paying the price, Mr. President. We're all paying more. And we've allowed Russia to get stronger. We've allowed China to get stronger in this whole debacle. We've even now we're starting to fray our relationship with Israel. We've messed it up with all these other nations. And if it was so true about this nuclear threat, then let's please try to have some diplomacy and get other countries on board to help us clean up this mess. Instead, we've allowed Russia to sell oil, lift sanctions on them. We've now are going to allow Iran to lift the sanctions on Iran. We're not only going to do that, but we're going to pay them $300 billion from this regime that we keep hearing all these problems from. But somehow this is a victory. It is a mess. It is a debacle. It's a disgrace. And we're all paying the price for it, except for the president. He's living in a bubble, and he needs to wake up, because we are getting further and further into trouble. And this midterm can't come soon enough, because we keep seeing these disastrous decisions. But just level with the American people. Tell us what is going on, and we could start to gain some faith. But the president has lost that trust, and it's a big problem for this issue and many other to come.
So we're running out of time here, but I want to ask you both. The reflecting pool has been a big focus now. There was the coating that's put on that's coming up. Algae blooms have resurfaced there. That comes after a multi-million renovation project ahead of the America 250 next month. Just really quickly, this is to both of you. Denise, we'll start with you. David, will end with you. Is this thing going to be cleaned up before July 4th?
I guarantee you they're going to do everything they can to make sure that it does. Look, nature's going to nature. Algae's going to grow. And there's nothing political about that statement. What I think is interesting is how much people are trying to use this to say that the president has somehow yet again failed in overcoming nature. I guarantee you the president, if he has to dump whatever chemicals in there to make it go away, he will.
I mean, this is David spent $14 million, the coating on the bottom to make it blue. It's certainly not blue right now. It's coming up. Do you think it's cleared up, David, by the time July 4th rolls around?
I think this is a signal of what's wrong with this presidency. He's focused on all the wrong areas. About dumping money, throwing good money after bad, whether it's the ballroom, the reflecting pool. We've got serious infrastructure issues in this country. We've got energy issues. We've got inflation. And what is the president doing? He's having a UFC fight on the lawn, spending millions of dollars for that, building a ballroom, the reflecting pool. Come on, this is not what the American people really care about. Sure, we want the Washington, D.C. to look nice. We want the president to be protected. But above all, we want to be able to afford our grocery bills. We want to be confident in the economy, and that is slipping away because our president does not have his eye on the ball of what matters, of what he said he would do and what he's doing. There's a major disconnect, and everybody is seeing that firsthand.
All right, they're going to have to start giving us 2 blocks here because we're running out of time here. David Carlucci, Denise Grace Gitsham, thank you both, and have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks.
After the break.